Tower of Tribulations, Wolf Chambers, Order of Abel, New Mexico, USA. The High Templars had been called to New Mexico for an urgent summit. Most had come from the undisclosed Templar headquarters. Of those that attended the Sub Rosa Conference were Prefect Caldric, the Supreme Turnian Templars, Order of Abel Elders, and Select Elders. Elders of outside Paladin factions were not mandated to be present, yet a few did arrive, including General Prefect Klaus Rarebell of the Clinge of Nephilim Order from Hanover, Germany. Kai was not an elder. His status had been revoked, and privileges thereof stripped. Nature of this sensitive meeting stipulated well-cloaked precision to keep Riff-Raff at bay. And Raiden Kai was Riff-Raff. The old wine-bagged geezer wasn't even to know of the meeting's existence. It was at that moment that Caldric was taking the stage. He approached the 5-foot pedestal made of Ma Sit, a precious emerald green stone named after a village in northern Burma where the rock originated from. The crowd of esteemed guests that Kai was no longer afforded to associate with fell silent.
We are the last. We are the few, and we will stand. Together in the darkest rooms of history we will find another, and we will all light a light of hope, and we will find each other. But some of those lights have gone dark, and some of the beacons we relied on have faded to gloom. We are the last, and we are the few, and we will light new lights that lead into the future. For when the bell tolls for one, we will ring a new bell through another. For that is the ultimate cycle. Though we have lost one great soul against the host of evil, we shall not falter. We shall not quake. We shall not surrender. And though the forces of evil have dealt us a grave blow, shattered the duality, smashed a prophecy, we will strike back. We will strike back because we are the last. And I, as the prefect of this ordained Paladin Assembly, I hereby enact the Aconites. I beseech the High Templar Collective that be, that they permit the Aconites to attempt the mission. The only mission.
Kai tapped his staff on the stone floor.
You send those armed men to their deaths? Why don't you wield an executioner's axe instead of fanciful speeches?
Every head turned to the back of the room.
Has life become that insignificant to you? Atticus still pursues the beast, and he still remains true to his convictions. To the convictions that this order have taught him. But you all have forsaken him. Because why? Because you cannot rely on any hope outside this cloister and its antiquated lore? May as well deem Nostradamus as your New Age John the Baptist, and Aesop your Peter.
He has been exiled from this order and therefore possesses no rights to be present here. Escort that afflicted man from this chamber immediately.
You need not exile me from anywhere that I never belonged. I've been but a ghost of truth in this compound. I shall make my own departure. But know this, you all, that when I cross over, I take the truths with me, and leave you all with the wolf in wool.
Paladin honor guards, lads young enough to have been Kai's great-grandchildren, approached him in the formal fashion as one would expect of honorly guards. 4 of them. Not a single one of the boys drew their weapon, nor did their countenance ever alter from a stoic temperament. Boys of worth. Hard to come by nowadays in the modern veins of society. But here stood tall and proud these 4 young knightlings, without a falter of their principles. And yet, they were misled along with the rest, taught to act like trained guard dogs who snarled and sat and rolled over on command. But like any trained animal, they lacked the capacity for broader reasoning, and therefore could not reach a proper and validated conclusion. And that conclusion was that their chains were short and easily being yanked. But he couldn't fault them much, because the alternative might have been something far worse. It's hard to walk a hairline fracture between proper discipline and firm self-confidence. Today, he might school these young gentlemen on a valuable lesson. Don't go pushing an old geezer full of piss and vinegar.
Yield, Raiden Kai.
Raiden cast the entire lot of them a smirk before twirling his staff and himself around in a flurry of his brown cloak. When he faced them now, he was aglow with twists of translucent energy.
How dare you invoke the arcane against this order?
Caldrick's pointing finger was a weapon of judgment, but sent not even the slightest of a tremble through Kai. With a gentle nudge of his staff, a tempest raptured the honor guards across the way, slamming them into the wall, feeble paper cards sliding down the stone. His wrath of dissent could no longer be chained. If the fools resisted truth in their face, then they would have to accept his fury instead. For years, Elder Kai had watched the grand and majestic order of Abel fall into shambled stones of political and social ambitions, bloated by appetites of greed, power, and agendas. No more did these illustrious stones bear the sacred conventions and selfless aspirations of bygone times. The dripping sins of humanity coated the stones with disgrace.
I did not come here to war with my brethren, for there is enough of that to come soon enough. I do not come here to discuss the lives of men as they are pewter pieces on a glass chessboard.
Traitor! What horror must afflict you? What elements of debauchery will you rain down upon this order before your foulness is satiated?
The horror of men. The horrors of desperate men in desperate times making desperate wagers. It is one of the most frightening foes in the universe, desperate men. But unlike the lot of you, I have not forsaken my pupil, nor lost faith in his odyssey, nor have I scraped him off the glass board and stomped on him, and ground him into dust to sweep beneath the cobblestone. How tragic it is that great men with visions given power shortly become fools with tunneled sight.
Under the authority of the prefect of this order, you are hereby commanded to surrender yourself, Raiden John Kai. Refusal to do so will result in physical means to be utilized against you.
A tall, shrouded figure rose from the table, hand raised as if about to take an oath.
Please, Prefect, allow this troubled soul to speak his concerns. I am High Templar Geoffrey Staymore, and I am the acting Supreme Bishop of the Turnian Templars. Please, kind sir, would you address this council with your concerns?
I know who you are, Templar Staymore.
You have come boldly amongst us during this conference of grave importance. Sane men do not act so brash without certainty in their convictions. Am I a fool for presuming you are, in fact, a possessor of your faculties?
My sanity is not in question here, Templar. I believe that my pupil Atticus,
one of the prophesied twin warriors, has not been given the support needed from this order, or the entire paladin community.
It is my understanding that the other twin warrior has perished. Have I been misinformed?
Indeed, you have.
Then Ron is still alive?
No, he is no more. But he was not the rightful soul chosen as the twin. There is another destined to be Atticus's true twin warrior.
But you are no ordained